This video is brought to you by Surfshark. Percy Jackson in the Olympians perfectly mixes Greek mythology within a classic hero's journey. But as much as the series is about 12-year-olds learning and growing, it's also about the world being set up, and there's no bigger part than the big three. The three brothers that overthrew their father and became the most powerful beings within the world. Of course, I'm talking about Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, the three brothers who seem to fight as much as other siblings do. Today I'm going to be looking at the fathers of some of the most important and powerful demigods within the series. This is the second episode in Recasting Percy Jackson, so make sure you check out that first episode where I recast Grover, Annabeth, and Percy. But before we get started, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN that allows you to protect your data from being breached, which is great, but I mainly use it to switch over my IP address so it appears like I'm from other countries, so I can watch different movies on Netflix. Like if you ever wanted to revisit the terrible films of Percy Jackson, you'd be forced to go over to Disney Plus and pay for that subscription. Or you can change your IP address with Surfshark and appear from South Korea, where you can watch Sea of Monsters where it's available to watch right now. I would suggest watching a better film, but Surfshark gives you that opportunity to watch whatever you'd like, no matter the country. Either way, without even switching your IP, it just makes sense in today's age to put up that barrier to protect your data on your computer. And Surfshark is the only VPN that allows you unlimited devices. So use promo code BrianSeeker to get 83% off and an extra 3 months free. They give you a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying right now. So go to the link in the description below for more details. Now with the big three, it's important that I state this is not directly from Greek mythology, but rather it's representative of the characters within the Percy Jackson series. So today I'm casting Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. So let's recast Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Now I know some people are pushing for Logan Lerman to return as Poseidon. I don't think that's ever going to happen, because it would kind of break the fourth wall, but it also doesn't have that air of wisdom that the god should have. He also doesn't feel high and mighty. Maybe it's just personal preference, but I think the god should be roughly middle-aged. It would sell that wisdom, as well as you could buy into them being the fathers of these children. If you cast too young or too old, it wouldn't feel right. Also, it's worth noting that these characters are brothers. So I tried to keep in mind A, that they roughly look around the same age, and B, look like brothers. I want them to share some sort of familiarity. With that considered, first up we have Zeus, the most powerful of the three due to his possession of the Master Mold. Now Zeus actually doesn't have a ton of screen time, as much as the other brothers do, but he may require the biggest actor, because he's Zeus. Zeus, of course, has power over the sky, and he's one of the main characters that we hear a lot about. I mean, his weapon is the main conflict within the first book. Now, Sean Bean actually portrayed Zeus in the original film, and I think he's perfect. Honestly, it's hard to even recast him, because I think he's great in the role. I think we need that face, but that voice, that presence that commands attention. Although the classic Zeus image we normally see is white long hair and a long white beard, I want to stay more true to the books, so I went younger. But I want to see that arrogance and him being extremely proud. He should see himself as above everyone else and act that way. Now I think Jeff Bridges would have been great for this, but I think he's just a touch too old now. That's why my first choice is Josh Brolin. Now Josh Brolin has played stern, cold characters in the past. But honestly, can you get more screen presence than Thanos?
With all 6 stones, I could simply snap my fingers. They would all cease to exist, and I call that mercy.
He has that voice that booms like Zeus's should, and the demeanor to match it. He even has that build that Zeus needs to make him even more convincing.
Your boy's gonna kill the headmaster of the orphanage tonight. After that, he gets a real taste for it, so he keeps killing, until one day he kills the wrong people. My people.
I think he has everything you need to make a really iconic Zeus. So Josh Brolin as Zeus. Next up we have Poseidon, the biggest player within the series of the big three. He should be as commanding as Zeus, but much more gentle and understanding. He should be able to go toe-to-toe with Zeus, but eventually back down. He should be handsome and bear some resemblance to Madison Rojas, who I cast as Percy. Now Kevin McKidd was Poseidon in the original film, and although his acting and his softness came across well in the role, for me he just doesn't look anything like Poseidon. Now I want an actor who feels like they're from Greek mythology, but also one who shows that they aren't cold and cares, and you can actually have a conversation with them. I want that god who feels like they could show up to Percy's birthday and isn't too high and mighty. He needs a real connection with Percy, where we can see the love shining through. Now, I had a laundry list of actors who could work here, but I ended up landing on Luke Evans. He has the perfect blend of godlike presence, but also that softness that can shine through. He can play godlike.
Sometimes the world no longer needs a hero. Sometimes what it needs is a monster.
But he can also have a soft emotional conversation and provide guidance for Percy.
Joseph is still missing. He was turned out on the streets because of me. I gave him money, but never crossed my mind to take him in.
You're not to blame, John.
Of course I am.
He's got the build as well, and actually looks like he could be the father of the Percy I cast. And he also has the star power needed for a role like this. So Luke Evans as Posideon. Lastly, we have Hades, because honestly, Hades is always considered last. Hades in Percy Jackson is a little bit different than in normal Greek mythology. Sure, he is bitter and cold and a loner, just like the normal version of Hades, but he actually has redemption and actually turns out to be very protective of his family. Although he acts like everyone thinks he should, once in a while, he surprises you. Now, I hated Steve Coogan in this role. And I don't know if he was going for more of a comic relief angle or he just wanted to play it more grounded, but whatever he did, it just didn't work.
Oh, sorry, I didn't expect you to look like this, man.
Rather, I want an actor who can play Hades, but still have a performance that feels real. I think a ton of actors would go way too far with the role and almost become cringy. I want someone who can naturally show a jaded nature, and someone who feels cruel and unwavering. Much like the god of the underworld, you should be able to feel their presence and their weight on screen. That's why I went with one of my favorite actors working today, Michael Fassbender. He has shown he can portray so menacing on screen. From Macbeth,
Thou canst not say that I did it!
To the strange stillness of David in Prometheus.
I can carry out directives that my human counterparts might find distressing or unethical.
But it's as Magneto where he really shows off that coldness and strikes fear. He has that do-it-myself attitude that Hades needs. He perfectly shows he has that coldness, but isn't all evil, and isn't too far from that redemption.
Some of you spoke to the police about what you believe you witnessed here yesterday. You want to know my powers? Know who I am. See what I can do. Think of the person you love most in your life. Now that person will know what it is to lose someone they love.
I think Fassbender can really bring a subtlety in a role like this, when others might go too far. So Michael Fassbender as Hades. So there's the casting for the big three. We are going to start tackling the characters book by book from here on forward, so look forward to that. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.